Hello creatives, I'm Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com, and today I'm talking about the polarities of book marketing. Now, why is this important? Well, I see a lot of Facebook posts and comments and articles, and people always ask, the number one question. So how do I sell more books? What is the magic bullet? How can I use just one thing to sell millions of books? Of course, if there was a magic bullet, we would all be using it. But the point is that there is no single correct answer. It's going to depend so much on your book, your genre, your personality type, how you're published, the country you're in, the situation you're in. There are whether you have a budget, there are so many polarities. So as we go through this, you'll see that, is it this or this? Is it this or this? And those different decisions you make each time are going to shape the type of marketing you do. Now, of course, I cover a lot of this in How to Market a Book, which is quite a long book, which tells you something. Marketing is not simple. It can be. You should choose one thing, but I try and give you a lot of options. So let's go through some of the polarities that you might find along the way. So first of all, short-term versus long-term. So doing something like a BookBub promotion, which is an email blast that goes out to readers on a list, that is a short-term spike promotion. Most authors who do it find their books go up the charts and then they come off the other side. So that is a short-term promotion. Long-term promotion would be something like this YouTube channel, for example, or my audio podcast. I've been podcasting and YouTubing for 9 years at this point as I record this. Now, I've not made millions of dollars from my podcast or my YouTube channel, but the point is, over time, individual viewers, listeners come in, some of them might buy my books. So long-term marketing is the kind of the content marketing, the brand building, the helping people, the convincing people almost one reader at a time that they might be interested in you. Another one is the focused approach versus the eclectic approach. Now, I kind of wish I could be that focused person, but I'm not. I'm more of an eclectic person. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again every day. But we hear marvelous success stories, particularly with something like paid advertising, Facebook ads, Amazon ads, where people spend their time every single day focusing on that one marketing method, and it really shifts a lot of books. Whereas I, do a bit of that, but I also like doing podcasting. I go to events, I do blog posts, I do social media. So you have to find what works for your personality. Can you just focus on one thing, do the same thing every single day, and become really focused and excellent at one marketing activity? In which case, awesome, do that. Or are you more eclectic, where you want to try different things and see what you enjoy? Then there is income-focused marketing versus brand building. So this is really interesting. For example, when you're starting out, you think that the number one thing that you should do is get on TV. If I could just get on TV, then I would sell millions of books and I could retire. But actually, most people who go on TV don't necessarily sell any books. TV is one of those kind of scattergun approaches. Yes, there might be millions of people watching, but how many of them are actually your target audience? So I would say that TV is more about brand building. It's about getting your name out there that you can then say, as featured on the BBC or as featured on Sky News. And I've been on the BBC and Sky News, I've been on TV, and didn't necessarily sell books for me that day, but it can be parlayed into other things over time. A version of income is that, circling back to the BookBub ads or something like Amazon ads, those, if you're bidding properly and you're paying less than you're receiving, they are going to make you direct money per ad. So it's very measurable. I guess you could also say measurable versus non-measurable brand building type activity. So those are, you would do those for different reasons, but if you're searching out TV interviews and doing PR and expecting income, you may be disappointed. Whereas if you're doing ads and expecting fame, you will also be disappointed. So do you see that there's these levers, I guess, that we can pull with our marketing? Another version is paid advertising versus free advertising, which again is money or time. So if you have a budget, then sure, dropping a couple of $1,000s on a BookBub ad, Facebook ads, Amazon ads, whatever else you fancy doing, you can do that and you can send your book up the charts and you will have spent money and not much time. But if you don't have a budget, if you have time and not money, then you can do other things. For example, YouTube it doesn't cost me anything to put videos on YouTube, and some of you might even go and buy one of my books. You never know. But the point is that doing something, or podcasting, again, I've been podcasting a long time. The podcasting is about building an audience slowly, writing lots of books in a series and not necessarily paying for advertising. That can be another way. So you have to consider, do you have a budget? Do you have more money than time, or more time than money? And you do need one of these things. You do have to either put time and or money into things. And yeah, I mean, it really will depend on your situation. Non-fiction authors, for example, people who might run their own business already, will often prefer to pay someone else to do the marketing for them because they have the money and they don't have the time. Whereas many fiction authors will generally find that they have some time, or they can make the time and they don't necessarily have a load of money to drop on marketing that novel. So again, will depend on your situation. Another example is standalone marketing versus series marketing, and this can work for both fiction or non-fiction, but is more common in fiction. So a few years back, I co-wrote Risen Gods with the awesome horror writer J. Thorne, and I love this book. It's based on when I used to live in New Zealand, and it's about Maori gods, and yeah, it's really fun dark fantasy book. And this is a standalone, and it's very, very hard to market this book because it's not in a series, which means there's no promotion you can do on book one that will sell through to later books. Whereas End of Days, which is book 9 in my Arcane series, I market this book by marketing book 1, Stone of Fire, and the box set, and I have lots of options for marketing this book because it's in a series. And also I know if people discover End of Days and they're interested in reading it, then they may well go back and buy all the other books. So it's worth investing in marketing a series rather than a standalone because you're far more likely to get your money back. Now, I do have a full article on all of these polarities and they go on for a long time, so we're not going to cover them all in this video. But I do have just a couple more things. So exclusive versus wide is another really common polarity. Now, this is really for self-published authors, because if you go exclusive with Amazon on KDP Select, then you have 5 free days per month. You also get certain visibility in the store. If you publish wide, then you have to do other things for your marketing. For example, what I found works well with wide is a permanently free first in series, because Kobo, iBooks, Nook have the promotions for a free first in series. Also, box sets sell really well on Kobo promotions and iBooks. So those are some things that you do with KDP Select versus wide. There are different promotional tactics for each one. Then, of course, I think a really interesting thing around personality is whether you do local marketing and in-person marketing versus global marketing and online marketing. So this is very interesting, and also will depend on where you live. So I'm an introvert. I get energy from being on my own. I'm not a shy introvert. I am perfectly capable of having conversations. I just like being on my own a lot. So I don't go to a lot of conventions. I don't do a lot of out there in the world type stuff, but that might suit you. I know lots of authors who love doing events. They are at fairs every week, they're at conventions, they're doing in-person things, and of course you can generally only do that in your physical location where you are physically. I much prefer online marketing. It suits me as an introvert because, hey, I'm here on my own right now. But also I can put something out in the world and you can see it wherever you are in the world. So going digital can mean you have more of an international reach, but you can also do it from your own home. So That again will very much depend on your personality. Do you want to be out there meeting people, doing book signings, doing events, or would you rather be doing digital stuff where you can connect? I mean, like have kind of virtual eye contact, but you're doing it from your own home. All right, so those were some examples of the polarities of marketing, and why it's important is really, don't ask a question, what is the number one thing I can do to sell more books? Because all those different things will come into your decision, what suits you, what your budget is, where you are, what your personality is like, what your book is, what genre what you're writing in. There are so many things that will impact what the best marketing option is for you. But don't write anything off, and of course I cover everything in how to market a book, so you can go and check that out. Also, leave any questions or comments below the video, and do subscribe because I will be back next week. So happy writing, and I'll see you next time.